My great-grandparents, Edward, Neal, and Mary Polly Harris, had 10 children. 8 of them were girls. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a few of the girls. The first one we'll talk about is Nancy. She was born in 1828 in Kentucky. I couldn't find much about her until 1850. The 1850 census, it shows that Nancy was 21 and living at home with her mom and dad and sisters. That's where I see she was living. I think 6 sisters were still at home. Okay, in 1960, she still lived with her parents. She was 31 years old and a seamstress. In 1866, at the age of 38, she married Christopher Kit Elliott. So I'm going to call him Kit. In the 1870 census, it shows that she's a stepmom to Christopher Elliott, which is Kit's son. He named him after himself. And it also shows that she has a daughter 2 years old named Martha. It shows that Kit is 66 and Nancy's 41. That means she is 25 years younger than him. In 1883, Kit died. He was 75 years old. He was buried at the New Friendship Baptist Church Cemetery. Since he died in 1883, I figured out that they were married for 17 years. So in the 1900 census, Nancy Elliott is living with her niece, Belle McGinnis. Nancy died April 5th, 1910. She was 81 years old. She was buried, I would say, next to her husband at the New Friendship Baptist Church. In the 1860 census, Edward and Mary had 6 girls still at home. So we already met Nancy. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Susan. Susan married W.B. Wilkerson, and they had a daughter named Dora. That was in the 1880 census. In 1870, Belle Neal was living with her. The 1870 census is so interesting because that's where I found Christopher Elliott and Nancy. That was the one we did first. Okay, then if you look around the census, you can see that Thomas Graham Neal, Nancy's brother, my great-great-uncle, is on that census also. And then farther down, you see Granville Harris. That's a relative also. And it's just interesting how they all live so close together. On the 1870 census, you'll also see at the bottom of the page, William Wilkerson and Susan. That's the one we're talking about now. She lives right next door to her sister, Nancy. With her is Belle Neal, 11 years old, and then a farmhand. In the 1920 census, Susan's daughter, Dora, is married, and Susan is living with them. In the census, she is 80 years old. 1 year later, in December 1921, in Tennessee, Susan died. She was 81 years old. Susan outlived her husband by 28 years. The next is great-grand-aunt Sarah Ann Neal. She was born March 1838. The only thing I could find out about her was a photo of her gravestone. She died when she was only 20 years old in 1855. There's no way that I can find out what she died of. So that was Sarah Ann Neal. Now we're going to talk about Martha Alcinia Neal. She was born April 1853, and I think she was last of all those children. So Martha Alcinia Neal, she was with the family in the census records of 1860 and 1870. In 1880, she is with her husband, Joseph Causey, and 4 children aged ages ranging from 1 to 8. In the 1900 census, she's 47 and she lives with her husband with ages ranging from 2 to 24. Her husband shows that he's a carpenter and also 4 of her sons. I'm sure it had to be a family business because her one son, he's called Cap M, is only 12 years old and he's a carpenter. By 1910, her husband's name is written as William Joseph Causey. He usually went by Joseph. The census record also said she gave birth to 12 children. In 1910, she was 55 and only 3 children were living at home. Their ages were 12, 19, and 35. So she had children from the age of 20 years old to 43 years old. By 1920, Mattie and William Joseph are the only ones living on Caldwell Avenue. Her husband is 70 years old and still working as a carpenter, a contractor carpenter. On Mattie's death certificate, it showed she had a lot of things wrong with her and she was ill for about a year or maybe a year and a half. She died in 1925 at the age of 71 and was buried in Mount Olive Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee. The 2 men in this picture, the one on the left is my great-grandfather, William Charles Neal, and the one farthest on the right is his brother, Thomas Graham Neal. They both are going to have videos on their own, especially my great-grandfather. He's very interesting. So many rabbit holes, so little time.